In this video, sponsored by me and the Tabletop Minions Expo, more at the end, I'll tell you about something that one-page rules does that I had no idea about, but it's important for wargaming. I'm a big fan of one-page rules. I've talked about them a lot here on the channel in the past. I have an entire playlist of videos that you can check out if you want to. Pachow. And you've probably heard about them before. If you haven't, well, I'll give you a quick overview. One Page Rules is a small company that makes rules for whatever miniatures you want to use. They make sci-fi and they make fantasy-themed games, and rules in both like army scale and smaller skirmish scale games. They initially were designed to give you like alternate rules for your Warhammer models if you didn't want to play the Warhammer rule set anymore. But now it's so much more. The rules are mostly free, or maybe $5 if you want like the advanced version with all kinds of like modular add-ons and customization and all that kind of stuff. Or you can do what I do and support them for $5 a month on Patreon, and then all the rules are included and a good deal more. They also have been producing their own miniatures for years as 3D printable STL files, and at the $10 a month Patreon level, you get access to those new models every month. And now, they're even starting to sell physical miniatures that you don't have to print at all. You'll probably start seeing those boxes in stores soon. I know this probably sounds like some sort of sponsored one-page rules video, and full disclosure, it's not. The video is sponsored by me and the Tabletop Minions Expo, like I said, more at the end of the video. They didn't pay me. I just think that more people in the hobby should know more about one-page rules. Whether you love sci-fi or fantasy, skirmish, or army games, they have a solution for you, and one that won't break the bank or your brain. Their games are fun and streamlined, and they don't take all day if you don't want them to. And they have an amazing and free online army builder. So there, you're all caught up. That's OPR. Use minis you already have, or use the 3D printed minis that, they've been producing for years. Or are there other options? It turns out that there are. I didn't know about this, even though to some degree it's been going on for a while now. I knew that they had their OPR official books in their online army builder. These are all the kind of different armies that they have rules designed for, right? Now, a lot of these are compatible with games like Warhammer, Battle Brothers, Alien Hives, Human Defense Force. It doesn't take a lot of work to figure out what, those refer to. There are multiple tabs above the Army Book section in the Army Forge online builder, and I had never really noticed them before. I had a meeting with my friend Param from One Page Rules at Adepticon, and he told me all kinds of things about one-page rules that I hadn't known. I found out that they were working with a bunch of 3D sculpting companies to make OPR-compatible army books for those companies. Sculptors like Archvillain Games, Titan Forge, Papsicles, and the Dungeon Trappers Lodge, and even YouTube creators like Mini Wargaming and Tabletop Time. All of these companies that produce amazing 3D STLs for tabletop wargaming, and now they all have OPR-compatible rules, so you can easily play them in Age of Fantasy or Grimdark Future. It greatly expands your wargaming experience, and I think working with these companies is really a smart move, both for the OPR folks and for the STL companies. I know I'm more likely to get some really cool models printed and then, actually paint them when I know that they already have custom rules in Grimdark Future Firefight, and I won't have to try to figure out, what rules to use and proxy and all that kind of stuff unless I want to. But like I said, this has been going on for a while, unbeknownst to me. However, Param told me about this at Adepticon as part of the bigger news that they were finally able to announce publicly a few weeks after Adepticon concluded. This news was released on April 14th, and it's about the Worlds Beyond Brawl, which will be launching on May 12th. on My Mini Factory's Frontiers. Frontiers is like, it's kind of like My Mini Factory's version of Kickstarter, right? And they're calling it the biggest collaboration in wargaming history. And I'm pretty sure they're right. There will be Grimdark Future Firefight and Age of Fantasy Skirmish STL warbands from groups such as Battle Yak Miniatures, Cobra Mode, Crippled God Foundry, Daka Daka Store, the Dungeon Trappers Lodge, Fleshcraft Studio, Mammoth Factory, Mini Wargaming, Paizo, Table Hammer, The Printing Goes Ever On, Titan Forge, Transatlantis Games, Treadhead Rad, Twin Goddess, War Machine, Warp Miniatures, and of course, one-page rules. 18 different creators, 53 different warbands, and over 500 miniatures. And where's this all heading? Well, many of these creators will be putting more and more of their models and warbands into the Creator Books tab on the OPR Army Forge after the conclusion of this campaign. It's already been announced that both Warzone Eternal and Paizo will be putting their entire STL lines into OPR-compatible rules. And some of the other partners that are in the Worlds Beyond Brawl thing just haven't announced it yet. It will greatly expand the amount of minis that you'll have access to when you want to play war games. And that's something that wargaming needs. In tabletop role-playing games, there's something called the OGL, or Open Gaming License. Now, I'm not an RPG guy, right? But what it is, according to Google, is a public copyright license created by Wizards of the Coast in 2000. They're the ones that make Dungeons & Dragons, allowing third-party developers to use, modify, and redistribute tabletop role-playing game content, mainly mechanics and rules, royalty-free. It is crucial for creating compatible, sellable content for games like Dungeons & Dragons using the System Reference Document, or SRD. It's mostly about compatibility. If you buy a module or whatever that's part of the OGL, then you know that it's compatible with the Dungeons & Dragons rule set, from what I understand. This helps convince folks who already know how to play Dungeons & Dragons to try out other OGL-compatible modules and systems without them having to learn an entirely new rule set. Now, from what I understand, there's been some drama around potential changes to the OGL in recent years. But again, I'm not really an RPG guy, so I don't know all the details. Suffice it to say, the compatibility part was generally the main idea. One-Page Rules is offering compatibility sort of like the OGL, but to the wargaming community instead. The main complaint that I hear about wargaming these days is that it's difficult to find someone to play games with if you're not interested in playing Warhammer. They are the 800-pound gorilla in the industry. But with One-Page Rules, you, of course, have options. I know lots of people who play Grimdark Future with their Warhammer 40k models, and they can use all the 40k lore that they want and, have all the big battles and all that kind of stuff. But if I was into War Machine, for example, let's say Khador, because I like those guys, they're awesome with the big and red chunky boys, and you were into Imperial Guard from, Warhammer 40,000, well, we didn't have any options to be able to play together, right? There was no way to play those two armies against each other. Except now, some War Machine warbands will be included in the upcoming Worlds Beyond Brawl, which means they'll have Grimdark Future Firefight, the skirmish game, rules. And that means that I'd be able to play them against an Imperial Guard warband for the first time. And perhaps the folks at Steamforged Games will include more and more of their current War Machine models to the OPR system for both the skirmish game, rules and also the army rules. Then eventually, you and I could do a big army battle using the Grimdark Future army rule set, between my Khador forces and your Imperial Guard. Want to see who wins between a direwolf, heavy warjack, and a chimera transport full of troops? I know I do. This kind of compatibility is something that the wargaming community desperately needs, and I'm pretty sure OPR is the best organization to do it. One-page rules can become kind of like the compatibility layer to allow people who enjoy different models and lore and like whatever to be able to play games together. Think about like if you could use your Trench Crusade miniatures to fight against like Malifaux or Infinity Forces. It would be like some real multiverse type battles. And the great thing is that those models can still obviously be used in the regular rule sets that they're designed for. But now you could have more options to play more games with more people. So if you're interested in checking out these new warbands for the Worlds Beyond Brawl, I'll put a link to the My Mini Factory page in the description. It's not an affiliate link. I don't think that My Mini Factory does those, but they should, right? I think if you sign up to get notified of when the thing launches, then you'll also get 2 free STLs like right away. So that's kind of cool too. And don't forget, there's already a bunch of creator books available in the Army Forge for you to check out if you're interested in those as well. I'm really glad that there's folks out there like One Page Rules who are bringing some like true compatibility to tabletop wargaming. It allows us to build and paint the models we love for the factions and stories we care about, but still play fun games with our friends no matter the manufacturer. What do you think? What game worlds would you like to see included into one-page rules? Let us all know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, some depressmentation of the like button, or even the hype button, if you have one. Check your little window thing. There might be a hype button there. It's always appreciated. And lastly, if you'd like to see more videos like this every single Friday while you're down there pushing buttons, there's also one that says subscribe, and it's free. Thanks for watching. Coming up in mid-June, come visit your Uncle Adam and play all kinds of demos and miniatures games. Take some classes from some of the world's best painters and just have fun at a little Wargaming Expo in central Wisconsin. It's the Tabletop Minions Expo, June 13th and 14th, 2026 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It's a small event with game demos, some painting classes, some vendors, and some fun. If you run some games as a game master, then your attendance is free. All the info you need is at www.tabletopminions.org/tmx. Link in the description below. Hope to see you there.